And I'm sure that when it comes to fractures, Mr. Cruz can't afford to match me.
Right.
And a man who can beat me is Mr. Jackie Chan.
Right.
So the last time I met Mr. Jackie Chan, he asked me, how many fractures? And I said, 37. Oh, you're catching up. Stop making film for adults as well as children.
True.
We make only juvenile films. And I want to get away from that. Sending financiers behind me to confiscate my property, banning my film, bringing in community, slurring the community to a community to suit your designs was all ugly politics.
Your film Apurva Sagodargal, which of course we know in Hindi as Apu Raja, in which you played a dwarf, came out nearly 30 years ago in 1989. He also said, of course, that at that time, obviously CGI was in a much more nascent stage.
No, it was all in camera. We had no CGI.
It was all practical effects.
It's all practical.
Do you have memories?
Absolutely. I designed it. So I sat down. The first idea was to do a dwarf. We didn't have a story, so it was just an idea.
Right.
Then nobody believed me. So I did tests on my own with video cameras and angles, and it's wire and rubber band techniques. Wow. So then the moment I showed it, I saw the excitement in other people's eyes. Then we went back to screenwriting. And we wrote once and shot for 10 days, and I knew that we had failed.
Was it very physically taxing?
Oh, yeah. And we failed. So first 10 days was a scrap. Full schedule.
Wow.
Camera, film, money, breakfast, everything went down the drain.
Wow.
And people thought I was going off the center, now, eccentric. And they said, you can't allow this. I mean, this is film business, and what are you doing? I mean, you're not a scientist.
Right.
And my brother admonished me, and I said, it's not for that. I know how this works.
Right.
But what matters is that the screenplay doesn't work for me.
Right.
So then you had commissioned it. I said, yes, but it doesn't work. Would you rather let the audience say it or
Fix it.
hear it from me?
Right.
So the director is an open-minded young man,
Right.
maybe 20, 25 years older than me.
Right.
But he was willing to listen to that and go back to the drawing table. And he allowed me to write the screenplay.
Wow.
And he said, you go ahead and do it because you seem to have a handle on it. You know the technique and you know how far to, because they were all worried about stretching the character of Apu.
Correct.
They wanted it to be Raja Apu.
Right.
I wanted it to be Apu Raja because this is the protagonist.
Right.
So that they were scared to do for practical logistics reasons. But I changed the thing and it became even more difficult film. So when we finished the film, Singeetam and I looked together. Now is the time to start the film because we know how to do it.
Do it, right.
But the picture was done and we had to live with what we had.
You've said in the past that it was your life's dream to act with him. This is, of course, K. Balachandar, who was your mentor.
I've written at least 3 scripts, which he has done. It sounds like Mark Antony's speech.
Yes.
Thrice has he been offered the crown, which he thrice did he refuse. It's like...
He completed Uttama Villain shortly before he passed away in December.
Yeah.
Is it an emotional experience watching those scenes with him?
Absolutely. It was an emotional experience just asking him.
Okay.
It was even more of an emotional experience when he accepted.
Right.
And on the first day, he said, even now you can change your mind. You're taking a tremendous risk. I'm a dying man. He said, we all are. And so it doesn't matter. I'm willing to take the risk. And what happens if I die? That's something you'll have to wait and watch. We laughed and we never spoke about it again. But he completed the work and then died.
जब विश्वरूप आई थी तब इतनी कंट्रोवर्सी हुई थी. आपने यहाँ तक कह दिया कि मैं देश छोड़कर चला जाऊंगा. अब आप कह रहे हैं कि इस देश ने मुझे इतना कुछ दिया, तब आपको ये ख्याल नहीं आया?
देश छोड़ के जाना बहुत, they make it sound like I am a traitor. for having said that. But there are so many reasons why you leave a country, because it's uncomfortable, you leave it. I mean, Subhash Chandra Bose left the nation. There's no shame in leaving a nation like that. He went out to fight. And when I said that, I was throwing an insult at the ruling government. I was trying to reiterate the point that it's not a livable area, because you're making things tyrannical, draconian behavior towards people and artists especially. That's what I was trying to underline. And sending financiers behind me to confiscate my property, banning my film, bringing in community, slurring the community to a community to suit your designs, was all ugly politics. And I'm glad that I didn't succumb to it and kneel and stood up instead. I stand proud today. I won a case, a small film company won a case against the state of Tamil Nadu and the government. I thank the justice system for that.
Last week, Mr. Hassan, the Tom Cruise starrer Mission Impossible Fallout released. One can't help but see the similarities. Two aging superstars, if you like, helmed these films, both spy thrillers, both men with this indefatigable energy, insistent on doing their own stunts. Where do you draw the line when it comes to the action? Would you jump off a plane 25,000 feet in the air?
I have in this film, but the thing is, before I've done stuff, and I'm sure that when it comes to fractures, Mr. Cruise can't afford to match me.
Right.
And a man who can beat me is Mr. Jackie Chan.
Right.
So the last time I met Mr. Jackie Chan, he asked me, how many fractures? And I said, 37. Oh, you're catching up. He said, you're catching up. I must do some more. And that kind of conversation. But then...
You'll wear your wounds as trophies.
But we are not as trained as Mr. Jackie Chan. I mean, he starts from... It's like my Bharatanatyam training.
Right.
So that helps. And the speed with which Mr. Tom Cruise runs,
that's right,
is
it's quite commendable, yeah.
Yeah, commendable, and is a clear proof of his good health.
There's been a big debate, Kamal sir, on the relevance and the need, if any, of censorship in the arts. The recently appointed chairperson of the CBFC came under severe criticism recently when he proposed a ban on cuss words in films.
Yeah, he's a friend of mine.
Right.
And he's a filmmaker. And he asked, Kya Kamal ji, aapne bhi bol diya? I said, it's directly not
It's
at
not personal,
him.
right.
It's not at all personal. It is the right. I've seen great writers write it. Most of the Renaissance statues will have to be pulled down.
True.
All the work of Michelangelo, most of his work will have to go down because they are not well clad.
What is the solution then? I know you have very strong views on the issue of censorship.
What do you do with Khajuraho?
True.
I mean, do you stop children from entering it? Because there are coital posters on the wall.
True.
And the idea is they must see it. That is why they built it. The king was sensible. If you're harking back to your culture, is it not my culture? Is Vatsayana not of my culture? Then what are you suddenly telling me? Why are you treating me like a child? I think we've stopped making film for adults as well as children.
True.
We make only juvenile films, and I want to get away from that. I don't say that I am making it.
Right.
I want to get away from it.